Hey everyone, Giblets here. So unfortunately no collab this week, but luckily for me, I got tagged in the top 10 favourite games tag challenge by thesgtmooby, so let's jump into number 10 right now. So number 10 on my list is Final Fantasy VII. This game for me was my first proper Japanese RPG encounter when I was younger. I would go to my cousins every week, and my cousin's dad, he was very much into all the old games, all the old RPGs, and he was like, Lee, you should have a go at this game. This is Final Fantasy. And he was like, don't worry about the number, you can just jump straight in. And for me, being able to go through this game every week, I'd come back, ask his advice how to get further. It's got me great friends through times. My friend Andy, he reignited me with the game years later when I got the game, and he helped me go through it. And for me, this game just means a lot. It's got so many ties to other games, and it's influenced so much that I don't think this can't be on people's top 10 lists if they haven't played it. So number 9 on my list is The Walking Dead Season 1 by Telltale. This game, I couldn't just split it up and pick one episode. It has to be the whole season. This is possibly one of the best stories told through a video game, and actually made me very emotional towards the end with the spoiler that happens. The game's been out for a while, I'm not going to spoil anything in this list, but the relationship that gets built between the main character Lee and the support character Clem, it's just beautiful, and I think a lot of games can learn from Clem and Lee's dynamic and the moral choices that you have to make in the game. They're never black and white. Well, some of them are. The choices are very, very hard to make, and that is why this is in my top 10. So number 8 on my list is Sonic the Hedgehog 2, not Sonic Adventure 2 that was on the GameCube and Dreamcast. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 that was on the Mega Drive and Genesis, I think it was called in the US. But this is a big part of my childhood. When I was growing up, I didn't have a Nintendo console, so I had to play Mega Drive games likes of Alex the Kid and whatnot, and Zoom, I think it was called, or Zool. And with that, this game came along, Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was great. But then Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came along, and that was just groundbreaking. I don't think I managed to get very far as a child in the game, but just being able to play this with my friends, either me playing as Tails or them playing as Tails, even though Tails doesn't do much, it just made you feel like you were both playing the game, and it was just the perfect game growing up. It was so fast compared to Mario. You had twists and turns, you had to go backwards and forwards, compared to Mario where you're just going forwards most of the time, and that's what really cemented this game in my top 10. So number 7 on my list is Assassin's Creed 2. So with this, I'd probably put Brotherhood and Revelations into the same banner of this, but Assassin's Creed 2 was my favourite, as it was the first game that I actually 1000 G'd on Xbox 360, and that's because I enjoyed it so much. You see, when Assassin's Creed 1 came out, it was all a rave, this big parkour game that was coming out, and everyone wanted it. It came out, it was a bit clunky, the story wasn't amazing, Altair was cool, but there was a lot that they could do with it. Then Assassin's Creed 2 came out, and it introduced Ezio, and Ezio was a lot better, compelling character compared to Altair, but they do come across each other technically, and you get their stories merging in Revelations, which does add up to a lot, and it does make the game feel a lot better. And like I said, just the storyline from 2 all the way to Revelations with Ezio is amazing. So if you haven't checked out Assassin's Creed 2, I'd definitely say you should. Number 6 on my list is Resident Evil 4. So this would have been Resident Evil 2, but I had to go with Resident Evil 4 just for the fact that Resident Evil 4 was the first experience I had personally of playing the game myself. Growing up, my brother loved the Resident Evil games. He'd play Resident Evil 2 over and over again, try and get all of the secrets, playing all the playthroughs, doing survivor mode, and I loved that game. I love Resident Evil 3, but as soon as Resident Evil 4 came out, it was very different, and it played very different to him. He wasn't a big fan of it. Me, myself, as a millennial, this was a game that very much fit into the aesthetics of the games that were coming out. It was a very, very, very different Resident Evil game, but with that, you got more character development on my favourite horror game character, Leon, and we got this great story in a Spanish village where you got the crap scared out of you constantly by these big horrible monsters, and things that were quicker. They weren't zombies, they were more intelligent, they could climb, they could open doors, they'd smash down windows, compared to zombies that just shuffle up and down. And with that, I don't think ever since Resident Evil 4, the Resident Evil series hasn't really hit that note again since. The Resident Evil Revelations games are very good at emulating it, but since Resident Evil 4, there hasn't been something that hits the action horror, I'd call it, note as well as it. So number 5 on my list is Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic. This game I played on Xbox when it came out, and it was my first dabble into a BioWare RPG. This game, I am a huge Star Wars fan, and this game just really, really, really made me want more of the Star Wars expanded universe. It's what got me onto comics, it's what got me into the expanded universe books and more Star Wars games. And with that, the story of Revan and how his descent to the dark side, other spoilers for Revan right here, when he comes back to the light side, depending on what you choose, and his interaction with all of his crew members as you go through this game is just perfect. They hit every single note, and I can see why a lot of fans want a Knights of the Old Republic movie about Revan at this point. It is sad that it's fell out of the expanded universe and it's not canon anymore, especially with the Star Wars MMO that's out, because that's just in this limbo where it's not canon, but they've got to carry on making content for it. But even the new any information that you get about Revan from Knights of the Old Republic 2 and SWTOR as well, it just really adds up, and that's why this game is so perfect to me. It's the perfect Star Wars RPG, and I don't think they'll ever manage to hit an RPG for Star Wars the same way that KOTOR did. So number 4 on my list is a game that I'm playing on the channel right now, and that is Fable. It would definitely have to be the version Fable Lost Chapters, so far as I don't know where Anniversary goes, but Fable The Lost Chapters, it adds so much content at the end of the game, as well as stuff spread through the whole game as well. There's so many little side missions and add-ons that they've added in the Lost Chapters. This game, for a lot of people, was a letdown when it first came out, but still a great game because of how Peter Molyneux hyped it up and said there was going to be a lot of different things. Me, personally, it didn't, as I found that game later on after the hype. It got recommended to me by someone, and it is possibly one of my favorite RPGs that I've ever played in my life. The humor's there, it makes it feel like a lot of British TV shows, and unfortunately Fable 2 and Fable 3 didn't hit the same note that Fable 1 did. I wish it did, as they're still great games, but I don't think they'll ever hit that. And with Lionhead now gone, it makes me sad that we'll probably never see another Fable game again unless it gets bought by someone, but hopefully it does, as Fable and Albion is one of my favorite game worlds. It's just so colourful and fun. So now we're in the top 3, and what game is best for the top 3 in place 3 than Halo 3? So this game is what ignited my love for online playing, and I have never been a giant fan of first-person shooters, but this one was what really got me into them when I did start playing them. I put in more than my fair share of hours into this game. I even played... I would play this game every night after getting home from school, from 4 o'clock to about 10 o'clock. Every day of a weekend I'd be on it all day, and I don't think another first-person shooters ever got me that enticed to play. It was so colourful, just playing custom games like Infection and Jenga, if any of you guys played it. Just, I am waiting for the day that we get Halo 3 type game again. I know Halo 5 has incorporated a lot, but I don't think it ever hit that note that it did with me for Halo 3. So here we are at number 2. This game is Kingdom Hearts, and oh my god, this game is amazing at what it does. It combines the world of Final Fantasy and Disney, and occasionally other stuff in the handheld games, but it combines it so well. And just playing as Sora, playing as Roxas, and running around with Donald and Goofy. I don't think I ever imagined playing as a Final Fantasy type character and running around as these characters when I was growing up, and then we got Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 2 does build on a lot, but Kingdom Hearts 1 was perfect. It added action elements, freestyle combat, jumping around everywhere, the glide ability, so you could glide around the maps of these beautifully crafted maps to make them look just like Disney locations, the likes of Tarzan's Treehouse, Alice's Wonderland. We've got Beast's Castle later on, and we even get Beast as a character who roams around with you and helps you discover yourself again, and the enemies are all beautifully made and made to look like they fit in that world as well. And I'm wishing so hard that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to hit the same type of note and brilliance that Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 did. So here we go, we're at my personal favourite game of all time. That game is Broken Sword. A lot of you may not have heard of this game. I've spoke to a few people and they've been like, I don't know what that is. But Broken Sword is a point-and-click adventure game that was originally a DOS game. It also came to PlayStation, which is where I played it. But this game has a lot more personal reasoning to be my favourite game, for the fact that my mum was never a very big gamer. She then fell in love with this game. She'd play it every day to get through that story. She'd write down notes to figure out how to do things. This was before the internet was really a thing, so she'd leave the game for a month, come back to it and play it. She also did the same with number 2. Number 3 was a bit of a washout. We'll leave that one there, and number 4 we won't talk about. But I think that's what started my love for video games, is watching my mum play as George in Broken Sword, and then me later going back to those games and us both playing it at the same time and trying to see who could finish the game quicker. I love the humor in these games. If you've ever played them, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The riffing between George and Nico through the whole game, and through the little minor characters like the policeman, other people as well. Just, if you haven't played this game, you need to. This game is perfect. I'm gonna let you know a secret. Kingdom Hearts was my number 1 spot, but as I was going through the recordings for this, I knew I had to swap number 2 and number 1 because of how much Broken Sword means to me. And with that, I hope you did enjoy seeing my top 10 games. I know it was a bit all over the place, but I had a lot of fun making this, and if you want to see more things like this, maybe other top 10s about other things, don't forget to like it, let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe as well. So see you next time, guys. This being a tag video as well, I have tagged 3 people, and those 3 people will be Dasdragon, Superantlers, and also Vesperascit. You should go check their channels below.